out? Okay. I think we're good.
Hi, everyone. Today we'll be discussing our final project on ChatGPT tweet analysis. So to start off with a brief overview of our project aims to analyze tweets containing the text and or hashtag ChatGPT to better understand the prevalence and sentiment of ChatGPT in society, as well as how different groups of people may use the tool of ChatGPT. So some motivations behind our project. Generative AI has become increasingly accessible to the general public in recent years and really exploded in popularity and usage, particularly with the recent release of ChatGPT in November of 2022. And tools like ChatGPT are already being used for many practical applications, from professional workplaces to educational institutions, and will likely expand in reach over time. Some studies have even shown that ChatGPT can play a positive role in public health and in advancing the public's understanding of climate change. And so while it's clear that ChatGPT has the potential to change society in many ways, no one quite knows yet the extent and reach of its influence or how it will grow over time. And so this project aims to better understand that.
So we made a Twitter crawler basically to capture all the tweets that have the keyword ChatGPT and or the hashtag ChatGPT. We then uploaded our web crawler onto a GCP virtual machine, a T2 small with 2 GB RAM. And then we automated it using a cron job, and we ran it every hour on the hour for 7 days. And here's the example of our cron job. We did manually stop the cron job as well. Unfortunately, we have some Twitter API limitations on our access tokens. So we have the limitation of 1 API call every 15 minutes. And each API call can return only 1,500 tweets per call. And then we can only retrieve tweets created up to 7 days in the past.
So for our methodology, after our tweet scraping script ran for 7 days, we had a full data set of about 250 megabytes. But this data set had to be cleaned down, cutting off extra unnecessary columns and tweets with many NA values, leaving us with a final data set of 82 megabytes, which is about 240,000 individual tweets over the course of 7 days. So to analyze our data to come up with results and conclusions with regards to our original research question, we generated several visualizations that will be discussed in the next few slides. And we also conducted a sentiment analysis using a BERT model on Hugging Face that was generated with the base BERT tweet model, which was created in 2020 off a data set of over 850 million tweets from 2012 to 2017, and another 5 million tweets from the COVID-19 time period. And this BERT model essentially is short for bidirectional encoder representations from transformers, which means that the model attempts or does read words within context, looking at words that come before and after each word and reading entire sequences. So for example, a word could mean different things or have different sentiments attached to it in context of other words. So what this model does is tries to look at a word in context to determine if the overall sentiment is more positive or negative.
Okay, so the left bar graph is the top 20 hashtags in our scraped tweets. So that has ChatGPT in it somehow. And these are identifying potentially some of our industries that are using ChatGPT. So we have like marketing, data science, finance, crypto, tech, cybersecurity, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And then on the right here, we have in the 60-minute cycle, because we did grab tweets per hour, just the number of tweets throughout the hour goes up as the hour goes. Next. Okay, and then we have a word cloud. So these are basically the number of words. No. How often the words are used in the tweets, basically. So we have prominent words like AI, which is the largest, prompt, free, will, work, and new. This indicates that users are interested in how ChatGPT responds to different prompts, are discussing how the tool is free, potentially indicating the impact that ChatGPT will have on society, how it can impact the workplace, and the fact that it's a new tool. Popular hashtags also include like Binance and crypto, like I already mentioned, indicating, yeah, next.
And so these figures show the number of tweets, the number of retweets, and the number of unique users each day for tweets that include the hashtag ChatGPT. And so you can see for this, we can see that there's a very similar resemblance in these curves between the number of tweets with hashtag per day and the number of unique users of tweets per day. And so this tells us that the majority of tweets are by unique users instead of one person or a small group of people creating many tweets at a time each day. And additionally, this plot of the retweets with ChatGPT per day does not resemble either graph on the left or the middle, but this is not necessarily expected, considering the number of retweets per tweet can vary dramatically depending on the user of the tweet.
So for our sentiment analysis, we first attempted using the text blob library in Python, but the major issue with this, as you can see, is that no tweets were ever classified as negative, even in our complete data set over 7 days. And this was an immediate red flag for our group and led us then to trying the BERT model, which I have explained previously. So results from the BERT model showed that the majority of tweets are classified as neutral, and positive is the next most popular sentiment. And it is interesting to note that there are twice as many positive tweets compared to negative, telling us that overall people are generally interested and curious about ChatGPT and likely view it in a positive light or general interest in terms of ChatGPT's capabilities and future uses. Further analyzing sentiments over time, we can see that in our 1 week sample, there was a slight dip in positive tweets between April 22nd and April 24th. And negative tweets remained overall pretty constant at about 6,000 tweets per day. But again, this is heavily outshadowed by the number of neutral tweets in our time period, which was the most popular sentiment. Again, breaking down the sum of tweets by hour, we can see that towards the end of the day, the 20th hour of the day, there are just less tweets overall, so all sentiments dip. And we can see that trend lines remain relatively horizontal throughout the day, indicating that there aren't any steep changes in terms of how people feel about ChatGPT, but depending on the time of day.
Okay, so some of the trade-offs, restricted API access. So again, like we said, right, we only had access to basically the tweets within our time frame of April 21 through 27. And our ultimate initial goal was to analyze all of the tweets related to ChatGPT since its release. but we weren't able to do that because of the Twitter API token restriction. For computing power for sentiment analysis, we ran it locally on a MacBook Pro, and we ran it on our GCP T2 small virtual machine. And we realized there was a great time difference in execution time. And looking back, we probably would have spun up a more powerful VM if we knew that was going to happen. And then for API call time, we noticed that we were getting more tweets towards the end of the hour when we graphed everything. And this is potentially affected by when we actually do the API call, and we would potentially in the future change that and hopefully, do it more often, or just get the whole span of tweets in the day. Next. Related work. We use the BERT tweets model. It's a Roberta model trained on English tweets. There's a body of literature which uses Roberta to analyze ChatGPT related tweets. So 18% of tweets about ChatGPT were negative, and 72% of tweets were either positive or neutral, which kind of, I think, goes with our model that we have graphed. Earlier adopters have expressed overwhelmingly positive sentiments and relate ChatGPT to topics such as disruptions to software development, entertainment, and exercising creativity. Next.
Yeah, so we were very limited by the time for this project. Specifically, we only had about a week to collect data so that we had enough time to analyze it before the project deadline. And we're also limited by the Twitter API. But in the future, if we were to extend this project even more, we'd like to do a few things. Number one, we'd like to utilize multiple Twitter access tokens to increase our API call allowance. Additionally, it can be a lengthy process to get Twitter access tokens potentially if you're a developer, and we already had one that we were able to use. But if we had more time, we could get more. Additionally, we would like to extend the data set over a longer period of time to perform more time-based analysis. And additionally, we'd like to extend the data set into the past to cover recent releases of ChatGPT for analysis. So that includes when it was originally released back in November 2022, as well as major updates over the last few months, because that could provide some more insight on how the public is responding to those major releases.
So in conclusion, we have concluded from our analysis that unique Twitter users are engaging with ChatGPT and are considering its uses, specifically in the industries of cybersecurity, cryptocurrency, marketing. And people are generally curious about the concepts of AI and its many forms, from OpenAI, generative AI, even our AI was mentioned in the hashtags. So people are interested in how ChatGPT fits into this emerging field of technology. And given that sentiments are more positive than negative and neutral overall, we can conclude that as of now, people are interested in ChatGPT and are excited for its future applications.
And here are our references. Thank you.